All right, let's dive right in. If you happen to open your phone today, August 3rd, 2026, there is a massive chance you were hit with a completely eye-catching headline just absolutely dominating the conversation across the political spectrum. In this explainer, we're going to look past the initial outrage to break down the actual data. We'll find out exactly where this information came from, why it's suddenly taking over your screen right now, and what it really exposes about our modern information cycle. You've probably seen this exact quote, or maybe some variation of it, framed as this huge, urgent breaking news story. It's catchy, it's incredibly precise, and let's be honest, it's totally designed to make you react immediately. But here's the catch. This quote-unquote breaking news is actually a complete illusion. While the numbers themselves are based on real documents, the context that's being served to you today is totally manufactured. What we're dealing with here is a textbook example of something called ghost data. This is basically old recycled data that gets deliberately repackaged and stamped with a shiny new Today label, all to manipulate algorithms and drive immediate engagement. So let's play detective for a minute and uncover exactly how this specific financial number was literally resurrected from the archives just to target your feed. Section 1. Untangling the tax timeline. So, to make sense of this, we kind of need to understand how political tax reporting actually works, because there is always a built-in one-year lag. The income being referenced in these viral posts was actually earned way back during the 2023 calendar year. The Newsoms actually released those public figures, which were roughly $1.47 million, in October of 2024. That was a headline literally 2 whole years ago. I mean, it is absolutely not new. And to put that even further into perspective for you, in April of 2025, the couple released their actual 2024 tax returns, meaning the income they actually earned during the year 2024. In that filing, they reported right around $1.5 million. A slight uptick, sure, but largely in that exact same range. What this means is that today's viral headline is really just a mashed up, recycled Frankenstein of data from 1 to 2 years ago. There's absolutely no new tax release happening today. None. Moving on to Section 2, where the money originates. So let's break down where that money actually comes from. Gavin Newsom's official state salary is $230,000, which is actually the smallest slice of their overall wealth pie. It's a very solid salary, for sure, but nowhere near millionaire territory on its own. The vast majority of this $1.4 to $1.5 million figure actually stems from 2 massive other streams of income, both of which have remained remarkably consistent over the last 4 years. A massive chunk of that remaining pie comes directly from Jennifer Siebel Newsom. She has a highly successful career completely independent of politics as a documentary filmmaker and actress. She's produced and directed high-profile films like Misrepresentation and The Mask You Live In. And, these aren't just one-off projects. They generate really significant, ongoing passive royalties, licensing fees, and revenue from speaking engagements year after year after year. And then we have the final slice of that pie, which is real estate and investments. Well, before entering politics, Gavin Newsom co-founded the Plumpjack Group. That's a business managing wineries, hotels, and restaurants out in California. When he took office as governor, he divested from direct operational control. But, and this is key, he maintained significant financial interests, trusts, and real estate holdings. So this generates very consistent income through dividends and rents. We aren't looking at some sudden crazy windfall here. We're looking at well-established, totally predictable passive income. Which brings us to Section 3, the election season motive. Now, the timing of all this popping up right now, absolutely no accident. We are exactly 3 months away from the highly contested November 2026 midterm elections. Now, while Newsom himself is term limited and isn't actually running for his current seat, he is undoubtedly the most prominent Democratic figure on the West Coast. During an election season like this, political operatives from all sides are out in full force trying to shape the national narrative, and numbers like this, they're highly effective tools to do just that. It's fascinating how the exact same piece of data gets instantly weaponized by opposing sides. Critics are jumping on this $1.4 million figure to paint Newsom as an out-of-touch elitist who's totally disconnected from everyday struggles, like high housing and gas prices. Conversely, his supporters are looking at those exact same tax filings to highlight his adherence to strict financial disclosure laws. They argue this just proves a commitment to transparency that a lot of other politicians actively try to avoid. So how exactly does this end up on your screen right now? Well, the modern media machine essentially works in 3 steps. First, opposition research teams, or even automated bot networks, dig up that old 2024 data. Second, they feed it over to news aggregators with a fresh-to-day timestamp, completely stripping away all the original context. And finally, social media algorithms, which, let's face it, absolutely thrive on outrage, amplify the post right to the very top of your feed. All right, Section 4, the future political endgame. If you take a step back and look at Newsom's actions here in August 2026, he is definitely not acting like a lame duck state governor. He is stepping squarely onto the national stage. He's out there championing massive national issues: abortion rights, gun control, and international climate policy. And naturally, this is leading to massive speculation regarding a potential 2028 presidential run. And when you're eyeing the White House, believe me, your entire financial history instantly becomes a permanent, high-value target. Because he's viewed as a potential presidential contender, this old data quickly becomes a double-edged sword. On one hand, the right will dissect every single dividend check to attack his economic policies, basically framing him as a politician who taxes everyday citizens while personally profiting. On the other hand, the left finds themselves awkwardly trying to frame a $1.4 million income as, modest when compared to the extreme wealth of tech billionaires in his home state. It's an entire narrative battleground, and it's built completely on recycled numbers. And finally, Section 5, the media literacy takeaway. Okay, let's recap our little investigation here. Yes, the Newsoms did make approximately $1.4 to $1.5 million in their most recent public filings, but those returns were released back in 2024 and 2025. There is no new tax release, there's no new audit, and there's definitely no new legal trouble happening today. The money itself is very real, but the context of the quote-unquote breaking news is totally fake. It's just a recycled headline, perfectly deployed to capture your attention. And as this election season heats up, you are going to see a lot more of this. Old quotes, old votes, old tax returns, all dressed up as urgent breaking news. But you can protect yourself from this ghost data by following 3 simple steps. Always check the original timestamps on the article. Read past the flashy headline to look for actual filing dates in the text. And critically, question the political timing of the post. Ultimately, whether you think $1.4 million a year is way too much, totally fair, or honestly just completely irrelevant is entirely up to your own personal politics. But before you react, to share, or get outraged by the next viral headline that pops up on your screen, I want you to pause and ask yourself this one absolutely crucial question. Why am I seeing this right now? Because in the modern attention economy, your outrage is the product. So are you going to let them harvest it for free?